Honda riders represent the most delusional demographic in motorcycling. A collection of beige-wearing, safety-obsessed individuals who've convinced themselves that choosing the most boring option available somehow makes them superior to everyone else. You're the automotive equivalent of people who order plain oatmeal at five-star restaurants and then lecture everyone about sophisticated palates while completely missing the point of the entire experience. But hey, at least your bike will start. Let us start with secret number 22. A secret where you'll never admit any of this is true. Despite reading this entire list, you'll dismiss every point as bias from someone who doesn't understand Honda's philosophy. You'll retreat to your echo chamber of fellow Honda owners who will reassure you that boring is actually better, that predictable equals superior, and that choosing the most uninspiring option somehow demonstrates refined taste and superior intelligence. The saddest secret of all? Deep down, you know this is all true, but you're too invested in your choice to admit that you've been missing out on what motorcycling is actually supposed to feel like. You've spent so much time and money convincing yourself that reliability equals excitement, that admitting otherwise would require a complete reevaluation of your mechanical relationship and possibly your entire approach to life decisions. You'll defend your Honda with the passion that should have been reserved for the riding experience itself, creating elaborate justifications for why eliminating character somehow enhances the motorcycle experience. It's like passionately arguing that removing all seasoning from food makes it taste better, or that black and white movies are superior because color is just a distraction from the story. But that's just the beginning of your delusion. The next secret reveals how you've turned your boring choice into a crusade that would make televangelists jealous. Secret number 21. You're evangelical about mediocrity. The greatest irony is that Honda riders are often the most vocal about their choices, passionately defending machines designed to eliminate passion entirely. You've achieved the impossible, becoming enthusiastic about enthusiasm suppression, excited about excitement elimination, and passionate about passion prevention with the fervor of a religious convert. You've become missionaries for mechanical mediocrity, spreading the gospel of reliable disappointment to anyone who will listen, completely missing the irony of your passionate advocacy for passionless machines. You attend motorcycle gatherings not to share exciting riding experiences, but to convert others to your philosophy of automotive asceticism, where suffering through boredom somehow makes you more enlightened. Honda has successfully created a cult of personality around the absence of personality, and you're not just a member, you're a high-ranking missionary spreading the word that mechanical excitement is actually a character flaw that mature riders should avoid. Think evangelical mediocrity is embarrassing? What's coming next exposes all those specifications you love to quote. Secret number 20. Your technical specifications are meaningless. You memorize horsepower figures, torque curves, and fuel economy statistics like they matter, but you never use any of that performance. It's like memorizing the specifications of a sports car you only drive to the grocery store at 25 miles per hour, or studying the nutritional content of gourmet meals you'll never order because you always choose plain toast instead. The numbers on paper are irrelevant when you're too timid to explore what your machine can actually do, making your technical knowledge nothing more than conversation filler at boring Honda meetups where the most exciting topic is comparing maintenance schedules and discussing the merits of different tire pressure monitoring systems. You can recite your bike's specifications with the precision of a technical manual, but you've never experienced what those numbers actually mean in real-world riding conditions. Your technical expertise is purely theoretical, like a food critic who only eats at McDonald's, or a music expert who only listens to elevator music. You've become an encyclopedia of unused potential, memorizing capabilities you'll never explore, and specifications that remain forever theoretical in your hands. Those meaningless numbers are just scratching the surface. The following revelation will show you the devastating truth about what you've actually traded away. Secret number 19. You're missing the soul of motorcycling. Motorcycling is supposed to be about passion, adventure, and the visceral connection between rider and machine. You've chosen appliances that eliminate all of these elements. reducing the experience to simple transportation with slightly better fuel economy, and the emotional engagement of operating a household appliance. You'll never understand what you're missing because you've convinced yourself that missing it is actually superior to experiencing it. It's like choosing to live your entire life in black and white because you've decided that color is overrated and distracting from the pure experience of monochrome existence. You've traded the soul of motorcycling for the mechanical equivalent of a reliable appliance, missing the entire point of why millions of people around the world consider motorcycling a passion, rather than just a mode of transportation. Missing the soul of motorcycling is tragic enough, but what lies ahead reveals how this spiritual emptiness infects everything you do with other riders. Secret number 18. Your group rides are quite boring. Honda group rides resemble funeral processions more than motorcycle gatherings. You travel in perfectly spaced formations at exactly the speed limit, stopping every hour for bathroom breaks and snack discussions that would make kindergarten field trips seem adventurous and spontaneous by comparison. Real motorcycle groups bond over shared challenges, exciting roads, and memorable experiences that create lasting friendships and stories worth retelling for decades. Your groups bond over shared mediocrity and mutual agreement that excitement is overrated, dangerous, and probably illegal in most jurisdictions. Your idea of a spirited group ride is taking a slightly longer route to the same chain restaurant you always visit, carefully avoiding any roads that might challenge your comfort zone or require actual riding skills beyond basic traffic navigation and turn signal operation. The most exciting moment of your group rides is when someone suggests stopping at a different gas station than usual. Your boring group rides are just a symptom of something deeper. The upcoming secret exposes the fundamental confusion that's ruining your entire riding experience. Secret number 17. You confuse comfort with quality. Honda riders consistently mistake comfort for quality, assuming that anything challenging or demanding must be inferior. You've chosen the motorcycle equivalent of a lazy boy recliner and convinced yourself it's a racing seat, completely missing the distinction between comfort and capability. True quality in motorcycling comes from machines that challenge you, engage you, and create memorable experiences that push your boundaries and develop your skills. Your Honda does none of these things, offering instead the mechanical equivalent of watching paint dry while sitting in an ergonomically designed chair with excellent lumbar support. You've convinced yourself that comfort equals sophistication, that ease of use demonstrates superior engineering, and that anything requiring effort or skill development is somehow flawed by design. It's like claiming that fast food is superior to gourmet cuisine because it's easier to eat and doesn't require any appreciation for complex flavors or culinary artistry. Your definition of quality focuses entirely on convenience and predictability while completely ignoring the elements that make motorcycling a passionate pursuit for millions of riders worldwide. You've reduced quality to a checklist of comfort features while missing the emotional and experiential aspects that define truly exceptional motorcycles. Confusing comfort with quality is bad, but what's next reveals the most pathetic excuse in all of motorcycling. Secret number 16. Your beginner-friendly excuse is permanent. You claim your Honda is perfect for learning, but you never graduate to anything more exciting. You've been learning on the same boring platform for years, using beginner-friendliness as a permanent excuse to avoid anything that might actually teach you to ride properly or challenge your current skill level. Real beginners use their starter bikes as stepping stones to more engaging machines, developing skills and confidence that naturally lead them toward more capable and exciting motorcycles. You've turned your Honda into a permanent crutch that prevents actual skill development and keeps you trapped in a cycle of mechanical mediocrity. Your beginner-friendly excuse has become a lifestyle choice rather than a temporary phase, like someone who claims they're still learning to read while refusing to progress beyond picture books. You've been a beginner for so long that you've forgotten that the point of being a beginner is to eventually become something more advanced. That permanent beginner status isn't just laziness. The following truth uncovers the dark psychological reality behind your Honda obsession. Secret number 15. You're afraid of real motorcycles. Deep down, you chose Honda because you're terrified of what actual motorcycles might demand from you as a rider. You wanted the appearance of motorcycling without any of the challenges, risks, or emotional investment that makes the experience worthwhile and transformative. Honda provides the perfect solution for people who want to look like motorcyclists without actually becoming one, offering machines so sanitized they couldn't challenge a retirement home activities coordinator or concern an insurance adjuster reviewing your policy application. Your fear of real motorcycles manifests as a preference for reliability and practicality. But what you're really seeking is the mechanical equivalent of training wheels that you never have to remove. You've chosen motorcycles that will never surprise you, never challenge you, and never require you to grow as a rider or as a person. Fear of real motorcycles explains a lot, but nothing prepared me for the cringe-worthy revelation that's coming. Secret number 14. Your resale value obsession is pathetic. You constantly brag about Honda's resale value, which is like bragging about how well your beige minivan holds its value. The only reason Hondas maintain their worth is because there's always another rider ready to make the same boring mistake you did, creating a perpetual market for mechanical mediocrity. High resale value isn't a feature. It's evidence that you bought an appliance instead of a motorcycle, something so uninspiring that it appeals to the lowest common denominator of risk-averse consumers who prioritize financial considerations over riding experience. Your obsession with resale value reveals that you view your motorcycle as an investment rather than a tool for creating memorable experiences. It's like choosing a restaurant based on how well the leftovers will reheat, rather than how good the meal tastes when it's fresh and properly prepared. Your resale value fixation is embarrassing, but the next bombshell exposes how Honda has literally rewired your brain to think this way. Secret number 13. Honda's marketing has brainwashed you. Honda has accomplished something truly remarkable. They've successfully convinced thousands of people that eliminating every exciting aspect of motorcycling somehow makes for a superior riding experience. They've created a customer base that actively seeks out blandness, celebrates predictability, and defends mediocrity with religious fervor. You've become the motorcycle industry's most successful marketing experiment, proving that people will not only accept boring transportation, but will actually pay premium prices for the privilege of owning it, while convincing themselves they've made the intelligent choice. Honda's marketing genius lies in reframing every negative aspect of their motorcycles as positive features. Boring becomes reliable, uninspiring becomes practical, and soul-crushing predictability becomes user-friendly. They've convinced you that excitement is a bug, not a feature, and that eliminating character somehow enhances the riding experience. The brainwashing runs deeper than you think. What follows shows how Honda has made you completely miss the point of motorcycling itself. Secret number 12. Your practical mindset misses the point. You speak about real-world usability as if motorcycling is supposed to be a purely practical endeavor, completely missing the point that most people ride motorcycles specifically because they're impractical, exciting, and emotionally engaging in ways that cars and public transportation can never match. You've created a false dichotomy where excitement automatically equals unreliability, character means constant breakdowns, and passion requires sacrificing basic functionality. This binary thinking prevents you from understanding that the best motorcycles successfully combine reliability with character, practicality with excitement. Your practical mindset has reduced motorcycling to a transportation equation where the only variables that matter are fuel economy, maintenance costs, and resale value. You've eliminated every factor that makes motorcycling a passionate pursuit, turning it into an accounting exercise with handlebars. Missing the point is one thing, but the upcoming revelation exposes the mental gymnastics you perform to defend your terrible choices. Secret number 11. You defend boring like it's a virtue. Every Honda rider has perfected the art of explaining why their deliberately uninspiring choice is actually superior to everyone else's exciting options. You've developed elaborate philosophical frameworks to justify purchasing the motorcycle equivalent of plain oatmeal, creating complex arguments about why eliminating character somehow enhances the riding experience. It's not boring, it's refined, you insist. like someone claiming that elevator music is actually sophisticated jazz that most people are too unsophisticated to appreciate. You've convinced yourself that predictability equals quality, that lack of character demonstrates superior engineering, and that choosing the most uninspiring option available somehow makes you more intelligent than riders who prioritize passion over practicality. Your defense of boring has become so sophisticated that you've created an entire philosophy around the superiority of mediocrity. You speak about mature riding choices and sensible decisions with the conviction of someone who believes they've discovered a profound truth that everyone else is too immature to understand. All that defensive energy has to go somewhere. And what's next reveals the echo chamber where Honda riders reinforce each other's delusions. Secret number 10. The Honda community is an echo chamber of mediocrity. Within the Honda community, there exists a fascinating social structure based entirely on degrees of blandness and mechanical predictability. You gather in parking lots to discuss weather, gas mileage, and maintenance schedules with the enthusiasm other riders reserve for discussing lap times, modifications, and actual adventure stories that happened in the real world. Your idea of a spirited conversation is comparing fuel economy figures and debating the merits of different tire pressure monitoring systems. The most controversial topic at Honda meetups is whether synthetic oil is worth the extra cost, a discussion that generates more passion than your motorcycles ever will. You've created a support group for people who've chosen mechanical mediocrity, reinforcing each other's decisions to prioritize boredom over excitement. It's like a book club that only reads instruction manuals, then spends hours discussing the superior clarity of technical writing compared to those flashy novels with actual plots and character development. The community delusion is disturbing, but the following secret uncovers the most desperate compensation mechanism of all. Secret number 9. Your maintenance obsession is overcompensation. Honda riders have transformed routine maintenance into a religious experience, treating oil changes like sacred ceremonies and celebrating the fact that their bikes require so little attention because nothing exciting ever happens to them mechanically or emotionally. Your maintenance records are more detailed than most people's medical files, documenting every mundane service interval with the dedication of a monk, transcribing ancient texts, or a librarian cataloging the world's most boring book collection. You've convinced yourself that this obsessive documentation somehow makes you a serious motorcyclist, when in reality it just proves you have too much time and too little excitement in your mechanical relationship. The Honda dealership service department knows you by name, not because you're there for exciting performance modifications or racing preparation, but because you religiously follow every maintenance recommendation with the devotion of someone who's given up on spontaneity entirely. You're the customer they love because you never ask for anything interesting, never push boundaries, and never require them to think creatively about performance solutions. Your maintenance obsession can't hide what the next truth brutally exposes about your real identity. Secret number 8. You're not a rider, you're a Honda owner. There's a fundamental difference between motorcycle riders and Honda owners that everyone except you seems to understand perfectly. Real riders choose machines that stir their souls, challenge their skills, and create emotional connections that last lifetimes. You chose reliability over passion, practicality over excitement, and resale value over actual riding experience that creates stories worth telling at dinner parties. Your Honda will start reliably every morning, run forever without complaint, and bore you to absolute tears in the process. You've traded every exciting aspect of motorcycling: the visceral connection, the emotional highs, the pure adrenaline rush of performance, for the mechanical equivalent of a reliable friend who never says anything interesting, but always shows up exactly on time with exact change and a detailed itinerary. You're not motorcycle riders in any meaningful sense. You're Honda owners, and there's a fundamental difference that everyone except you seems to understand perfectly. Real riders develop relationships with their machines, learning their quirks, pushing their limits, and creating memories that last decades. You've developed a relationship with a household appliance that happens to have 2 wheels and requires a motorcycle license. The distinction between riders and owners becomes crystal clear when the upcoming revelation exposes Honda's actual business model. Secret number 7. Honda doesn't build motorcycles, they build appliances. Honda's entire motorcycle philosophy can be summarized as, why experience emotions when you could have reliability instead? They've systematically engineered excitement, character, and soul out of every machine they produce, creating transportation appliances for people who view motorcycling as simply a more efficient way to commute rather than a passionate lifestyle choice. Every Honda motorcycle feels like it was designed by a committee of accountants who've never experienced joy, tested by engineers who consider fun to be a manufacturing defect, and marketed to people who think vanilla is actually the most sophisticated ice cream flavor available at premium establishments that offer dozens of exotic alternatives. The company that gave us the legendary NSX supercar somehow forgot how to inject passion into their motorcycles, treating them like household appliances that occasionally need to move from one location to another without creating any memorable experiences along the way or challenging the rider's comfort zone. Honda's appliance philosophy reaches peak absurdity in What's Coming, where we examine their most ridiculous creation. Secret number 6. The Grom is a toy, not a motorcycle. You're a fully grown adult riding what essentially amounts to a motorized bicycle with serious delusions of grandeur and completely unrealistic expectations about its place in the motorcycle hierarchy. The Honda Grom produces 9.7 horsepower, which is less than most modern lawnmowers, yet you've somehow convinced yourself this constitutes actual motorcycling instead of expensive performance art about transportation inadequacy. You claim it's fun in the corners, but everything seems fun in corners when you're traveling at speeds so slow that pedestrians are passing you, while simultaneously checking their phones, updating social media, and having detailed conversations about their weekend plans with people in different time zones who are probably also moving faster than you on foot. You're not carving canyons or experiencing the thrill of high-performance motorcycling. You're gently suggesting to the laws of physics that maybe, possibly, if it's not too much trouble, you'd like to change direction sometime before next Tuesday arrives and your vacation time expires without any memorable riding experiences. Think a toy motorcycle is embarrassing? The next secret exposes what happens when Honda pretends to build something adventurous. Secret number 5. Your Africa twin has never seen real adventure. Your Africa twin has never encountered dirt more challenging than the gravel parking lot at Whole Foods. Yet you've somehow convinced yourself you're prepared for transcontinental adventures and ready to tackle the world's most challenging terrain with confidence and skill that you definitely don't possess, but desperately wish you did. You invested $15,000 in a motorcycle specifically designed to cross continents and conquer the world's most demanding off-road conditions, then use it exclusively for commuting to your office job, where you spend 8 hours daily dreaming about adventures you'll never actually attempt or have the courage to pursue beyond YouTube research sessions. The luggage system costs more than most people's entire motorcycles and is loaded with camping gear that's never been used outside of your climate-controlled garage, creating an expensive monument to unfulfilled dreams and weekend warrior fantasies that will never become reality because you're too comfortable with your current lifestyle to risk actual adventure. The adventure bike cosplay is cringeworthy, but what follows reveals Honda's laughable attempt at rebellion. Secret number 4. The Rebel 300 is cosplay, not motorcycling. Honda examined the cruiser market and decided what it really needed was a machine with all the visual aggression of an angry hamster and the performance capabilities to match that intimidating presence. The Rebel 300 produces 27 horsepower, which is barely sufficient to outrun determined joggers with decent cardiovascular fitness and proper running shoes from discount sporting goods stores. You're out there revving at stoplights like you're commanding some sort of mechanical beast, but everyone within a 3-block radius knows you're piloting Honda's interpretation of training wheels for adults who want to look tough without actually experiencing anything remotely dangerous or exciting that might elevate their heart rate above resting levels. The bobber styling fools absolutely nobody who's ever encountered an actual motorcycle or has functioning eyeballs and basic pattern recognition skills developed during elementary education. You're riding a scooter that's been to the gym exactly once and now thinks it's intimidating, like a chihuahua wearing a leather jacket and trying to start fights with German shepherds at the dog park. That fake cruiser looks exciting compared to what the upcoming secret exposes about Honda's luxury touring nightmare. Secret number 3. Your Goldwing is a rolling retirement home. Your Honda Goldwing represents the complete antithesis of everything motorcycling was supposed to be about. You've taken a machine designed for freedom, adventure, and connection with the road, and transformed it into a 900-pound living room that happens to have wheels and an engine powerful enough to move small buildings. This mechanical monument to excess weighs more than most compact cars, gets worse fuel economy than pickup trucks hauling boat trailers, and requires more maintenance than a small aircraft. Yet somehow you've convinced yourself this represents efficient touring and practical transportation for the modern rider. However, the Goldwing does excel at one thing, making every other motorcycle look minimalist by comparison. It's the only bike that comes with more cup holders than most kitchen cabinets, a sound system that rivals concert venues, and enough storage space to relocate small families. If your goal is to never feel wind, weather, or any connection to the road while technically still being on a motorcycle, the Goldwing is an engineering masterpiece of isolation technology. The rolling retirement home is boring by design, but the next revelation shows Honda's most insulting betrayal of the sport bike category. Secret number 2. The CBR 600RR is a 15-year-old design in new clothes. You purchased Honda's idea of a sport bike, which is essentially a 15-year-old design that's been updated with the same enthusiasm Honda reserves for their annual shareholder meetings. Minimal effort, maximum profit margins, and absolutely zero innovation that might accidentally create excitement or genuine performance improvements. The CBR 600RR represents everything wrong with Honda's approach to motorcycling. They took a decent platform from 2007 and decided that minor cosmetic updates every few years constituted meaningful development, like putting new curtains in a house with a crumbling foundation and calling it a complete renovation project. You're paying premium prices for technology that was cutting edge when people thought MySpace was the future of social networking and believed that flip phones represented the pinnacle of mobile communication technology. The suspension is calibrated for riders who consider aggressive cornering to be anything faster than a leisurely Sunday cruise through suburban neighborhoods. All these disappointing motorcycles stem from the ultimate lie revealed next, the foundation of Honda's entire deception. Secret number 1. Your reliability is just code for boring. You've built your entire motorcycling identity around one single characteristic: reliability. That's like choosing a spouse based solely on their ability to show up on time, completely ignoring personality, passion, chemistry, or any other quality that makes relationships actually worthwhile. Honda has convinced you that excitement is dangerous, character is overrated, and soul is just a marketing gimmick used by inferior manufacturers who can't build proper appliances with wheels. Your garage contains what amounts to a very expensive lawnmower with handlebars, yet you strut around bike nights like you're piloting some sort of mechanical masterpiece instead of transportation so bland it makes beige paint seem vibrant and exciting by comparison. Honda doesn't build motorcycles. They manufacture two-wheeled appliances for people who've given up on experiencing actual emotions during their commute. Want to experience what real motorcycling feels like? Try literally any other manufacturer and prepare to understand what you've been missing all these years of reliable disappointment. You've become part of Honda's most successful business model, selling the appearance of motorcycling to people who are fundamentally afraid of what real motorcycling demands. You're not a customer, you're a demographic, carefully studied and precisely targeted with marketing messages designed to make you feel superior about choosing the most uninspiring option available. The saddest part isn't that you chose a Honda, it's that you've convinced yourself it was the smart choice while missing out on everything that makes motorcycling one of life's great passions. You've traded the symphony for elevator music, the gourmet meal for fast food, the adventure for the safety of your living room, all while insisting that you've made the sophisticated choice. Honda hasn't just sold you a motorcycle. They've sold you an entire philosophy that prioritizes the absence of character over its presence, the elimination of excitement over its cultivation, and the suppression of passion over its expression. You've bought into the idea that motorcycling should be as emotionally engaging as operating a household appliance, and you've paid premium prices for the privilege. But deep down, in those quiet moments when you're riding your perfectly reliable, completely predictable Honda down another boring stretch of road, you know something is missing. You can feel the absence of the connection that other riders talk about, the lack of the visceral engagement that makes motorcycling addictive, the missing spark that transforms transportation into transcendence. That's the real secret Honda doesn't want you to know. You've been settling for mechanical competence when you could have been experiencing mechanical poetry. You've chosen the reliable friend when you could have found your soulmate. You've accepted good enough when great was waiting just one dealership over. Thanks for watching. Want to watch more? Click on your screen now.